Okay, I thought I would do a quick video on my setup, my video vlogging setup. Although I'm not a vlogger, I just record my rides. I am going to get into making more videos with some audio content to it. There are masses of people out there doing it already. There are videos out there with individuals with a lot more experience than me, especially in recording better footage. However, on the basis that you may have or be searching for a setup, I'm going to address a couple of the issues that I've had along the way so that you don't have to make the costly expense of making a poor choice or a choice that doesn't support you if you're thinking about vlogging. Now, the first thing I think is important and one worth considering is the type of camera that you use. I have been using the Tom-Tom Bandit now since it came out, not just for vlogging or recording my rides, but I've used it all over the world underwater. I've used it skiing or in snow climates. I've used it high altitude. And so far, touch wood, I've not had any issues with it. Now, just solely as a riding camera or a camera for video footage, there are a couple of cameras out there that give you a slightly better frames per second. The audio quality is better, and I'll address another option that you can have with other cameras. But overall, as a bulletproof camera, I would say that it holds up with some of the best. I chose this before a couple of the other manufacturers. I think the Ghost range is slightly narrower and certainly not as heavy. But I chose this just because of the footage, the flexibility of it, the usability of it, the speed of which that you can use the footage, so you don't need to take with you any lengthy cables or carry with you masses of kit. You can simply use this, and then an external charging pack if you carry one of these, you know, to charge your phones and things like that. You just plug that straight into there and you start charging. Or if you're transferring the data off, plug it straight into computer. Not only can you transfer the data directly from this, but also it charges at the same time. It takes a standard 64 or standard micro SD. Overall, it's a great camera. The only issues that I've had with it is that, I don't know whether you can see here, there's like an attachment or one of the levers here. So zoom. There's one missing here. That's because of user error. I dropped it. However, even with that missing and the spring still showing, I've ridden thousands of miles without it coming off. It has the ability, there's no extra mounts needed. I'll show you the mount in the camera in a second, but literally depending on the angle that you want, you just rotate the bezel, the fixing bezel, whether you want it flat like this, to the side, depending on which side of the camera or the helmet you have it. The interface, very, very simple. It's waterproof. As I said, I've scuba dived with it and free dived. The lens, I don't know whether you can see, there's some gaps there underneath, just here. There's some holes. That's to capture the audio. The audio quality isn't super, but if you're just using this for walking around, or certainly a scenario like this, it would be more than sufficient. There is a Velcro bit on this one, which I've attached. I just add a dead cat to. And then you get a waterproof seal lens as well that you just click on if you're going to use it underwater or in wet climates. Now, I did tour 4,000 miles using this camera, and I did face a couple of issues in terms of the rear attachment. But that being said, there are, with all the other cameras out there seems to be a common theme in that none of the manufacturers seem to be able to get the audio attachments sorted all right. There's either the GoPro series that need these like 2 or 3 plug-in adjustments before you can start adding in cables. The same can be said with the Tom-Tom Bandit. And I get it. They're a business, they want to earn add-on money as a result of selling you these additional items. But if you're going to do that, the most important thing is to make sure that they're of build quality, which is great. Now, this is an original Tom-Tom, an adapter that you need to go in the back, and it clips in like so. However, underneath are two of the smallest little lugs that fit into recesses just in here. It's just obvious. The second you start clicking in stuff like this on a regular basis, if you're using it on a helmet, that's pretty much every time you want to take your helmet off or capture the footage, because you're not going to leave this attached to it and carry this around. To put on for such a robust camera, yeah, the tiniest small little lugs here, you just know that's doomed for failure. So I don't think they thought that through. Not only that, the cable comes in one length. Now, if you're vlogging, this cable length has to go somewhere. This, on one of the setups I had, I actually put this inside of the helmet. I'm not so keen on doing that. You know, the helmet is meant to be kept intact without interference. So putting all this cable in the helmet is not really where I wanted to go, but I had to. And then you've got this attachment, which I actually taped to the back, and then this was fed round the helmet. This bit of cable here was fed round the helmet, and then taped on the side with a bit of electrical tape, so that this, you know, this wiring loom was effectively there all the time. Until, of course, that little plastic lug broke. Now I did, for a short amount of time, until I got back and looked at alternative options, just stuck an elastic band around it. But you know, it's not an ideal solution, certainly not one that I wanted to continue. Not only that, the mics that I was using, these, they just kept failing over and over again. I bought some really expensive mics. I bought the Rode mic, and then I bought some, you know, 4-pounders off eBay, and they just kept failing. Not only that, once you plug it in, look the amount of cable that you have to put within the helmet. So a number of things warranted for an alternative solution, and that was this. So for the Tom-Tom Bandit, I use this as the video, and then for the audio, I use a Zoom H1N. And this as a standalone device is brilliant, but you cannot plug even if it did work, a standard mic into it. The reason being, which would be an ideal solution, you know, you plug that into the line in, that goes up and that just sits inside your helmet. You could even hide away, or have that in a top pocket. You could hide away an element of this cable, or even get a mic with a quick detaching element to it, so that the mic could remain in your helmet and then you just quick detach, which would be a perfect solution. If there is a designer out there and there is one available, then let me know, because I've been after one of those. However, that solution doesn't work. The reason being, the output, the power output from this is not sufficient enough to power those. So you have to go with something a little bit extra. I've gone for a Boya mic. Now you can see that there's still a massive wiring, and you know, this is a battery pack. This is additional wiring, which I've just literally coiled up because I don't need it. And the way that I do it now is I plug it in. This goes in a little pouch. Everything gets turned on. I start recording. This then goes up the inside of my jacket, and as you can see there's a small amount of like sticky Velcro tape. It's like a plastic version though. In there is a mic that comes with this, and there's a dead cat attached, and then this, once I've got all my gear on, it just flops over like so, and then that just gets stuck inside the helmet, which I'll show you in a second. Now, as a secondary camera, I actually bought a cheapie off Amazon just to see how it went, and actually it fed up incredibly well. It's just, you know, HD 1080p, looks like it's like a knockoff of a GoPro in terms of the way that it's shaped and the functionality and the menu and things, and it just goes in a standard GoPro styled mount. This one actually on the, and I'll add in some clips of where are the mounting points I put these on the bikes. But this fared up 4,000 mile tour last year on the front guard of the K1200S. Again, the footage isn't particularly great, but it's enough to utilize or certainly build something out of. I also used it as a back cam sitting on the back of the Ducati, and also a rear facing camera on the dash as well. So it's just a secondary camera until I can warrant purchasing another expensive, either going for a GoPro style camera or one of their range, or in fact looking at another Tom-Tom or another camera altogether, maybe taking out or adding in the a new 4K camera as my main camera, and then utilizing the Tom-Tom as a secondary camera. So that's the kit that I basically use. The Zoom H1N, the cheapie off Amazon, and then the Tom-Tom Bandit. For helmet mounts, very simple. Same as the majority of other people out there, it's just one sticky pad that goes onto one mount, and then the ease of use of this, you clip it in like so, make sure it's pointing up the right direction, and there you have it. That's it. That's as quick as it and easy as it goes. Now you can see there that it doesn't want to come off. I've reused this mount, this Tom-Tom mount, multiple times, but I've just bought new sticky pads to affix them, either through changing helmet or using this mount in different locations. But this is a permanent one now, stuck to this lid. Again, to show you how quick and easy it is to dismount it, it's like this. So there is, it is very simple in comparison to some of the ones, especially the GoPro style ones, where they are, in some cases out here, and then if you want to detach them and you haven't got one of these quick detaches, which I think are, I'd be concerned in putting a GoPro, a 300-pound GoPro on the side of a helmet using a quick mount. I'd want something a little bit more rigid. Seeing someone trying to twiddle it off and things like that, it just looks like a bit of a nightmare, to be honest with you. So yeah, the Tom-Tom mounting system certainly I think is one of the best, if not the best. As I've said, inside of the lid now, I've removed the majority of the vlogging wiring. I've seen some guys that from the side of their cameras it goes in and they're fielding masses of wiring behind at the back of the helmet. I'm not so keen on doing that. I did do that before, as I said, when I was using the audio footage from the Tom-Tom, but I just kept getting let down with it. And certainly the mounting system on the back of the Tom-Tom wasn't up to scratch. I do have in this helmet my comms unit, and I think that is more than sufficient, certainly more than enough wiring and additional bits and pieces to be adding in the helmet. You can't really see it under there, just here, but there is a small sticky pad, and it just marries up with this. So nice and easy, it gets stuck in, and then as you can see, that's more than enough. There doesn't really want to be any more torque. If there is an emergency, it can just get pulled out anyway. So I've not had any problems so far of it detaching as a result of a ride. And I think really there doesn't need to be any more than that. Again, the wiring just comes up through the jacket, either underneath a neck warmer, and then you do your helmet up and then just stick it in. So there is a small amount of cable that's coming out, and should there be an emergency, again, it just pulls out. So that's it really of my vlogging setup in terms of camera mounting and audio mounting. Let me just take you through and show you some of the mounting points that I use on the bikes. So here on the Duke, you can see the rear facing, heading up towards me as I'm riding. Again, it's just a very simple GoPro style mount, quick release mount. Again, if you're traveling and you're stopping along the way, you want something you can just release really quickly that's not too obtrusive. So this one's really easy, and the same with the mounting on the back, rear facing. The advantage you've got with this mount is it is reversible, so you can clip it in forward facing and you can clip it the other way facing back towards the traffic. So it's forward and reverse. It's a mounting system that can be used either way. Then on the K series, I've got this front guard mount. I probably wouldn't use this anywhere else apart from on this bike. And again, it was just kind of a trial use, a trial run while I was traveling through Europe. We captured some awesome wet weather footage. Sadly, it's not as clear as I wish it could have been, but you can't have it all. That's it for my vlogging setup. Hopefully you've benefited, or there's something from that you're able to take away. As I said, there are a lot more expensive options available to you, but as an affordable setup for the everyday rider, I can't recommend the Tom-Tom Bandit really enough. I just wish they'd set or improved the quality of that fitment on the back. And it's a versatile camera that you can use everywhere, and you're not having to deal with the masses of frameworks that you need to build around for the GoPro versions, certainly on the helmet mounts. The only ongoing expensive are batteries if you are going to record the audio quality through a digital recorder, and the 3M sticky pads, where you might need a couple, probably no more than 5. I think I've ever used additional ones beyond those supplied, and again, they're probably less than a £5 on eBay or Amazon. So that's it. Hopefully, as I said, I've added some value to some of the existing videos that you've watched. Please remember to subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. For now, peace out.